I've actually worked on professional fireworks shows. Yeah, it was a really cool experience.
Yeah.
It was also dangerous as hell. Wow.
And as I'm like walking across other people, I just let it go. And I let it go. I can't afford the whole hand. Just give me a bionic finger.
Just the middle finger.
Just the middle finger. That's cool. Did you get up to anything this weekend?
Slept in.
Damn. I'm jealous of your life, man.
You sleep in every day.
That's true, I do.
You just fall asleep when you fall asleep, and you wake up when you wake up.
That is a fair point. I have a pretty cool life too.
How many
Living the
times do
dream.
you have to wake up on time for some appointment?
I had to wake up for to take my car in to get.
I was gonna say
air
car
filter.
and doctor's appointments. and
Yeah.
probably not a lot of doctor's appointments.
Yeah, and I schedule all of them at like 5 p.m. because I wake up around that time these days.
You know, you should see your doctor like around 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Why?
because they just had lunch.
Oh, so they're in a good mood,
Yes, same with judges.
and maybe like a little sleepy.
Yeah, you don't want to be
Judges,
you don't want to be scheduled to see a judge at like 11.
Oh yeah, that's a good point, huh? I wonder how many
The
guys.
coffee's wearing off and they're getting
Yeah.
low blood sugar.
I wonder how many guys have just like gotten life in prison just because like they got it too early. Like they had their sentence a little too early.
They're
Like before the judge had his coffee.
yeah. I mean, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are optimal times to be in front of a judge. The optimal time is never.
Sure. Yeah. But if you had to
outside
choose.
of that,
Right,
yeah.
exactly. If you
You want them not suffering from hangriness.
yeah, no, that's already a bad combo, you know. Yeah, have you ever been in front of a judge?
I have.
Were you on the right side of history when you were in front?
I've been on the wrong side of history.
Same.
I also tried to get on a jury, but because of my history, they thought that I couldn't be unbiased.
Right. Yeah, they were like, "No, this guy's a degen."
They were like, "What was your previous experience with the justice system?" And I was like, "Well, it was brusque and efficient."
It was brisk?
Brusque.
Brusque. What's brusque?
Brusque is, we don't really give a shit about you.
Oh,
We're getting this done.
Right.
Hurry it up.
Yeah. So you basically told them the court sucks.
I told them that
The court doesn't give a shit.
I told them my honest impression, which is, it's get them in, move them out. Like,
Right.
you can't dick around in court. They got a lot of work to do, and
Yeah.
they don't have a lot of time to do it.
And that got you dismissed immediately. They're like, "All right, you can go home."
Yeah, which I was okay with serving on a jury. But I was not. It was not in the cards for me.
Right. Damn. Did you know that by saying that about your feelings about the court that might
Probably,
might
yeah.
get you out, might
But-
cause you out of it.
I was just giving him my honest response.
Yeah.
And that was enough to have them go, okay, yeah, he's
He's too
probably,
woke. He knows the truth. He's peeled back the layers of reality. He's escaped the matrix. We can't have him on our jury.
I don't know about escaping the matrix.
He knows too much.
I'd like to know Kung Fu.
That would be cool. Just download that firmware.
Yes.
Get that patch update. Well, speaking of freedom and the beauties of this great nation, how was your 4th of July?
It was noisy.
Yeah,
Yeah, not
pretty
as
poppin' neighborhood.
It was popping off a little bit. Not as much as when I lived in Santa Ana.
Yeah.
'Cause my neighborhood would have like
It's a rowdy area.
7 houses all competing to have like the most
Right.
banging fireworks show, and there'd be like a pickup truck full of fireworks
Yep.
and a crew of dudes just like unwrapping them, staging them, getting them set up in the street, lighting them off, getting them, the old ones out of the way, throwing them out of the way.
Right.
Just for like 30 minutes straight.
It's crazy. I mean, there's like a lot of neighborhoods across the entire country are exactly like that. They come out in droves. They're either at like parks or just in front of their houses, like on their street, just in the middle of the street, lighting off fireworks. And oftentimes it's, people are drinking.
As one does.
So like July 4th is, I think it's the craziest holiday that we have because you're really just combining alcoholism with explosives. Like booze and explosives are an insane combo.
They are.
Which is why
sobriety and explosives are already an insane combo.
Yeah, but with our freedoms, we're just like, let's crank it up a notch. How much can we exercise? How free we really are.
So how many fingers were lost this 4th of July?
Fingers, hands, heads.
There was a head.
There was a head. So yeah, I actually rounded up a few videos.
Okay.
Some of them may not be safe for work, but we'll blur out things that we feel like we need to.
Okay.
But this is just a quick little list of shit that happened this year. I mean, obviously there's a multitude, there's endless videos that you can find online from any 4th of July in the past, but these are specifically just the ones that happened this last week. There was this one at in Utah. I was at a stadium in Utah. You probably saw this. It was circulating a lot. Basically, there was a fireworks show, and they launched a bunch of fireworks, and they started going off into the crowd. Check out just the angle, the POV on this.
Oh.
Did you see that, dude? You can see the gunpowder on that guy's all over his hoodie. But check this out. This Asian guy got direct hit. You see his shirt. He's like trying to protect his chick.
By standing behind her?
Oh yeah, maybe he's using her as a meat shield. What a coward. But look at him.
Oh, yeah.
He got the mark, dude. Direct hit. Right on that belly, dude.
Right on the tum-tum, dude. That sucks.
That firework rubbed the Buddha for good luck. Isn't that insane?
That is. I mean, it's a statistical probability of, just imperfections in manufacturing, like the nozzle was malformed on that or something.
Right.
And it just right into the crowd. But it looked like there was
so crazy.
Not just a single, but like multiple strikes on the crowd. So that was...
There were like, yeah.
It was a big quality control failure.
Maybe 50 people. 50 people, I think, were sent to the hospital or something like that.
Dang.
So yeah, that was a pretty wild one. I feel like that's just like...
Or that could have been a whole thing that got knocked over. Like a whole... I forget what they're called. A battery, a crate. There's different modules when it comes to fireworks.
Yeah.
Could have been somebody just set it up wrong and it fell over or something. But
right.
Yeah, that's gnarly, dude.
I mean, that also goes hand in hand with the other thing that's very American, like the second most American thing that we have, which is lawsuits. Right.
Yes.
It's just an amalgam. This is just a
because people didn't. Well, you never know. People probably signed some waiver limiting liability when they bought the tickets.
Damn, you think so?
I mean, you're gonna sell a ticket. You can cram all kinds of fine print in there.
Right.
They're gonna be like, you waive all claim for injury or death or anything.
Right. Just some blanket umbrella statement that protects them, like pure immunity, complete immunity.
Unless you get enough money and lawyers to bash through it.
Yeah, right. It's always funny, like some of the language that they squeeze into those contracts just to make them completely absolute. Like I remember like having to read over some of the terms and conditions for Newegg at the time. Yeah, it was like actual like stuff that their legal team had drafted up, and it's like client says blah, 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 customer says blah, 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 agrees to this here and now until the end of time throughout the universe. And indefinitely, like throughout. I was like throughout the indefinitely. Indefinitely, like throughout the universe. The first time I ever read that, like now I'm used to seeing it, but the first time I was just like, what the hell? It's like a sci-fi. It sounds so
when
crazy.
I grow up, I'm moving to the moon and I'm suing them.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Because they only said Earth.
Exactly. I mean, like, they're literally covering all their bases.
Yeah.
All their bases from here to infinity and beyond, really. I've seen that, too. I've seen infinity
Verbatim?
and beyond.
Wow.
I don't think it was from Newegg, but it was from some other contract.
That's hilarious.
Because, I have to sign NDAs and embargoes all the time. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny what you see in there. But, I get it. People are lawsuit happy.
That's true.
This one was pretty cool. This is a slightly different vibe. This one's just in the hood. Here, let me start this one over.
Oh, damn. Battlefield 3 vibes.
Yeah, right? Dude, that was such a good hit. Like, I gotta say, that's probably the most accurate hit in Compton. This is in Compton, by the way.
At the longest range.
If you look at it, I mean, how close it got right to their head, like right next to that guy's. Could have been right on his head.
And the timing, it hit the ground and exploded at the same time.
Well, doesn't it explode because it hit the ground?
Possibly, but not necessarily.
Really? I mean, it seems so coincidental that it explodes right upon impact.
Well, typically you put impact detonators in, weapons of war and not fireworks. But
right.
I'm there's a 50-50 chance that impacting it just caused it to detonate.
Yeah.
But otherwise, if not, the timing is just
the timing and just like the placement and dude, nothing's better than black people freaking out. like
canceled.
I gotta hand it to him. It's there's nothing better. There's no other, like, white people freaking out, like a bunch of Karens screaming. It makes me want to like rip my ears off. I get annoyed. But black people like freaking out is
they have a lot
funny.
more character.
They freak out the best. Like just watch. Dude, that's passion, dude. That's such good passion.
Yeah.
They're having a good time. They're loving it. That's so good.
I don't know if that's a good time.
God.
But they are definitely feeling a lot of emotions.
Yeah, hell yeah. And then this is crazy. This is, if you ever just want to have some fun with a friend, it's a nice little saying hi, little hit and run.
Wow.
I'm
surprised the fuse was
awesome.
that long.
Right? But I mean, still, you're not...
I guess that was a mortar shell.
You're just not really... You're so stunned. By the time you even realize what's happening, it's too late. God.
Yeah,
that's a bummer because not only are you losing your arm possibly, but your car. You're the backseat of your car.
And your hearing.
That's a wicked... That's like go straight to jail. Go straight to jail move. That's a crazy felony. I feel like that's attempted murder right there.
Yeah, that's you should get in a lot of trouble for that.
Yeah, I mean
that is what they call a dick move.
People. I was looking it up. On average, about 10 people a year annually die from fireworks.
I'm surprised it's not more, but
injuries though. Injuries are on the up and up. So back in I saw a graph that was here it is. It's like firework injuries annually. So there was 7,000. I think it was like 7,000 injuries a year back in 2008. Where's this chart? Look at this chart. Like right here. This is 2008. It's like low, pretty low, 7,000. And then by 2020 it more than doubles it at 15,600. If you just look at this chart over the last almost 20 years, we've just been getting dumber.
I mean, don't most charts show that?
Yeah. This is a patriotic version. It is pretty wild how it just steadily has been increasing. It's
it really spiked there. Was that 2020?
We were bored, dude. We were going a little stir crazy. This one's fair. I'll give us a pass for 2020.
That's definitely an outlier, but I can see why that would have happened.
Yeah. And we chilled out a little bit. You can see we chilled out right after that. Mm-hmm. We're like, all right.
It's trending not upwards.
Yeah, right. For the first time in ages.
Yeah.
For the first time. But, give it a couple more years. We'll get
So
back
this
on
is
track.
injuries nationwide linked to fireworks.
That's right.
What did it peak at?
Peaked at 15,600. More than double what it was in 2008.
All right, that's probably at least 1,000 fingers gone.
It's twice as much freedom, for sure.
Wow.
That is a lot of fingers, dude. Yeah, and, that's just injuries. So deaths are much, much lower, like I said, on average, about 10 a year we get. And I actually had a theory about why this is, but before I get into that, there's some interesting footage that I want you to see.
All right.
So I think you had kind of mentioned this briefly at the beginning of the episode. Hear about this guy?
I did hear about him. I didn't know there was a video.
So the video doesn't show it happening, but this is moments before this guy's head blows up.
McGrew's wife told investigators they were having a block party, and McGrew had started drinking at around 6 p.m. His wife says
He started drinking around 6 p.m. The wife said he started drinking around 6 p.m. And then you just see him like drunkenly dancing in like this full getup Uncle Sam outfit.
He was really embracing the patriotism, but he took it a little too far.
He jumped the gun a little bit. He got a little ahead of himself.
I wonder if he tried to put a mortar in his hat.
Yeah, I think that might have been it. Because his wife said that he stuck it on top of his head, on top of the hat, and she thought that he was just joking around, thought he hadn't lit it yet, but apparently he had. And then it just exploded on his head, and then he died on the spot.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
dude, fireworks are scary. I have some stories about fireworks.
Yeah, this is a guy. This says he lost his hand. So people have lost body parts, of course. This says he lost his hand. Or I'm sorry, lost his hand. Later, it was determined that it was found that he just got really badly injured,
like burned.
This looks like a giant. I don't know what's going on here. This looks like a giant can that they just have put other fireworks in.
Well, that looks like a mortar launch tube.
Oh, it's a mortar launch. Yeah, okay. I don't know anything about how fireworks work. But yeah, you can see like he's down.
His hand got mangled. Luckily,
completely down.
Hey, Tom, fire!
He basically stuck his hand in a cannon when the cannon was getting fired.
Right, and still smoking, yeah.
And fortunately, the cannonball didn't explode in his hand and face.
Right.
It just went up and past. Looks like.
Right. This guy, this is crazy. Some people like to just hold fireworks and watch them launch from their hands.
Yeah,
because it's more fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like this guy looks pretty confident.
So I guess that was from last year.
Yeah, I think this one is from last year. This is the one that's not. Yeah, even though it was posted 3 days, it's probably a repost.
I've had stupid moments like that. I was a kid and I was like, man, bubble wrap. I love the sound bubble wrap makes when you pop it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pop a bubble wrap bubble right in my ear.
Right.
One of the big ones.
And did you go deaf?
My ear was ringing for a while.
Really? From one of those bubble wraps?
Yeah, dude. The chonky big ones.
Yeah.
It went kapow.
Kind of like a silver dollar size.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are big.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like a little kid.
Yeah. And I popped it right in my ear, and I was like, "Ow!" It didn't sound as cool. It didn't sound cooler because it was closer to my ear.
Right. I mean, that's how you learn. Right?
Yes, that is.
I'm sure this guy is very cautious with his other hand, his remaining fingers.
Yes.
And it's also very funny that he has like one pinky on this hand. Like, why not just? I'd be like, just take that one, dude.
No, it's quite useful, man, to have one finger versus 0 fingers on a hand.
I guess you're right, huh? But although I think it just look at that point it would look cooler to have like a robotic finger. Just have like an ice pick, you know? Or have like a little, like a robotic, like make it out of Connects or something.
Not everybody has time to be a supervillain with their amputations.
Dude, if I had 4 missing fingers, I would make the time. My priorities in life would change.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
I'd be like, come on, Doc.
You can pull it off.
Make me an Inspector Gadget. Just give me 1 digit. That's all I can afford. I can't afford the whole hand. Just give me a bionic finger.
Just the middle finger.
Just the middle finger. just the one that counts. The best finger.
Yeah.
Give me number 1. Oh man.
Yeah. I have seen some much more explicit videos than these, but keep going.
So this is my theory in all this. That's enough firework videos for now.
Okay.
My theory was that, my theory was that the states with the most recorded annual firework injuries are also the states with the highest level of alcohol consumption.
Okay.
And I was fairly accurate in that theory. It's all the Midwest. It's basically just all the Midwest states.
What about the South?
Surprisingly, the South
Come
was
on, Mississippi. I'm rooting for you.
States with the most firework injuries each summer. Top 10. South Dakota, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan.
Okay, yeah, that is the Midwest.
Michigan, Wyoming, Minnesota, Kansas, Maine, and New Hampshire. So primarily the Midwest. And then also the highest level of alcohol consumption, Midwest. Higher than the South per capita.
Indeed.
I mean, South is, they're trailing. They're staying competitive.
They're in the game, but
if you overlap those two maps, it's crazy. It is crazy.
Well, impaired judgment and explosives
Yeah.
have a pretty inevitable conclusion.
But then you know what? I wanted to take the theory a little further, and I was like, all right, now let's measure each state by IQ.
Okay.
And that could have been more opposite. Actually, a lot of those Midwestern states are the highest average IQ of the country. Did you know we're like number 48 out of 50?
California, we're a bunch of dum-dums?
I'm sure anyone watching this podcast believes that fully, but California's I think 48 lowest. I think right behind, Mississippi. No. Yeah, Mississippi is the lowest. Massachusetts was the highest IQ on average. MIT, dude. All those smarties at MIT.
Bunch of massholes.
Massholes, dude. So yeah, that part of my theory didn't check out, but the alcohol one, absolutely.
Alcohol overrides IQ.
It does. It really does. Oh yeah, it's right here. Sorry, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, North Dakota, Minnesota. Those are all the top IQs. Lowest is Mississippi, Louisiana, California, Hawaii, New Mexico, Alabama. All right, so yeah, like I said, you got some southern states in there. New Mexico. Yeah, we're dumb, dude. We're pretty dumb.
So, I've actually worked on professional fireworks shows.
That's right. That's kind of why, like, one of the things I was like, maybe you could share some of your experiences with the class if there's anything interesting, because I know that you did. I remember you and Aaron and some of our other friends, you guys would actually work some 4th of July shows and things like that.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience.
Yeah.
It was also dangerous as hell.
Yeah.
In multiple ways.
Right.
So, first of all, pretty much all the fireworks displays that, most people see are on land.
Uh-huh.
This was at sea. So, you take a barge and you set up a fireworks show on a barge.
Yeah.
And then you tow it out to a bay, and that's a private community of wealthy people who bought their own private fireworks show.
Uh-huh.
And then you set off fireworks in that one area.
So it was just a fireworks show for affluent
for an entire
area.
Community in Irvine.
Okay. Gotcha.
And it was very dynamic because we prepped for like 3 days, I want to say. Just the barge was tied up, docked, and we set up big wooden boxes, like almost like planter beds,
Yeah.
and then set up mortar tubes in them. And this is the mortar tubes that we used were a very high density polypropylene, I believe. So it's a type of plastic that is very strong and relatively stretchy.
Okay.
So compared to PVC,
Yeah.
PVC is it's not a weak plastic, but it will when it reaches its limit, it shatters.
Yeah.
So it was either polypropylene or polyethylene, high density polyethylene. I don't know.
Okay.
But it has quite a lot of elasticity,
Right.
or plasticity,
Sure.
where it can deform.
Yeah.
Instead of failing, it deforms and then reverts back to its original form.
Sure.
So for pro shows, you use either those or steel tubes.
Right.
Steel's, it would have been stupid heavy.
Yeah.
Even the mortar tubes made of plastic were not lightweight.
Right.
But you set all those up in the boxes, and then you fill them with sand up to about 2.5, 3 feet.
Okay. Just regular like beach sand.
Whatever sand.
Yeah.
Just, they got a front end loader, dumped a huge pile of sand on the deck, and then you take shovels and you shovel all that sand into the boxes. So you're putting the tubes in and you're surrounding them with sand.
Gotcha.
So they're buried in sand.
Right.
So the part where the shell is sitting all the way at the bottom,
Yeah.
if the shell were to detonate in the tube, it would have the tube, and then if the tube failed, then the sand would absorb that
shock.
force.
Gotcha.
So it was very, and not only that, but it allowed you to have the tubes stay oriented because they're buried in sand.
Right. Just
Otherwise, they're just wobbling
be
around.
straight up. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a video that I didn't get around to putting in here, but it was like they were using a mortar tube that wasn't planted with anything, and it was in a neighborhood, and it starts shooting off fireworks and then falls over. And then immediately fireworks just start shooting at like people's houses and cars. It's crazy.
So mortar fireworks are terrifying because they're like hand grenades.
Yeah.
In terms of their explosive potential, some of them are, probably a little bit stronger. They don't have metal that comes out as shrapnel, but they do have burning pieces of chemicals that come out and will embed themselves in your flesh and burn you.
Yeah.
But they also have quite a substantial blast. So a mortar shell has two main components. It has a lifting charge, which is typically just either gunpowder or black powder. I forget which. Which is, so if you look at a mortar shell, the average mortar shell typically will be sort of a sphere with a little bit of like a cylinder at the bottom. Okay. And that's the lift charge.
Gotcha.
So that's what blasts it up into the air.
Right.
And then once that happens, and there's an internal fuse that reaches the center, and then that's the burst charge.
Gotcha.
That bursts it and lights everything up so that, it does that beautiful firework thing. Right. That's the really scary part, because
that final
you throw that thing, 200 feet in the air, and it still has this huge burst. Right. So the fireworks shows that I worked on had mortar. They had, it's a cake. I kept forgetting it's a cake. That's what you call, like a prepackaged thing that's like 200 tubes. Yeah. That are all preloaded with fireworks. Right. That spray out showers and stuff. Sure. Those are cakes. Okay. At least that's what we called them. Right. So we spent like 3 days setting up mortar tubes and then cakes, wiring everything up. Yeah. Because they're electronically triggered. Okay. And then putting foil over the tops of everything because we're in the ocean. So as we're getting towed out to our location, which is like 3-4 hours, making sure that nothing gets wet. Sure. And then when the time comes and you're finally doing the show, one of the times my job was Firewatch, which was if a shell launches incompletely, like it just pops out of the tube and falls on the deck, try to kick it in the water.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Like before it explodes?
Yeah.
Isn't that dangerous?
Very.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like...
Should have worn my steel toe. Should have worn steel toes.
That seems like some workplace safety.
Well, I had hearing
OSHA.
protection. I had eye protection.
Right. Did you have foot protection?
Yeah, they didn't provide blast protection. So that was scary. Luckily, there were no like incidents. There were no misfires or real problems.
That's insane that like you didn't have like some kind of range like tool to just like shove it out. Like you use your foot. You're like, let's use a limb.
Yeah.
Let's use one of two important
I think
have.
the logic is that you're just your foot is an ideal tool for kicking things, right?
But not explosives.
Yeah,
did you like at the time? I mean, obviously you were much younger then. Were you like, this is a really dumb idea, or did you not really question it till later? You're like, holy crap! Like, you didn't. I would have been like, sorry, I'm gonna bitch out on this one.
No,
or you give me like just a push broom, dude. That does fine.
I was like, no, everybody on the team is doing something. Somebody, and this is something that
explosion kicker.
somebody has to do for the rest of the team.
I guess I'll punt explosives.
Didn't have to, fortunately, but I was prepared to. I was scared shitless, but
dude, we should all thank you for your service to this beautiful nation. This country thanks you.
And I will say it was legitimately, I had every reason to be scared because a 6-inch mortar shell, so that's 6 inches in diameter.
Yeah.
I think the show went up. The mortars we used were 5 or 6 inches, the biggest ones.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, it was like a small coconut.
Right. It's a little small dinner plate.
Yeah. And damn, those babies pack a punch.
So, I mean, if you had gone to kick one and it exploded, God forbid, right at that exact moment, like, would your foot be just toast?
It would have been pretty mangled, I imagine.
Pretty toast. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And your shoe would have provided zero protection, probably. Maybe a little protection, but.
Yeah, very, very little. Unless I was wearing a steel toe shoe.
Yeah.
And it detonated direct with that steel plate directly in between my foot and the shell.
Right.
That area of my foot, like my toes, would be protected.
Yeah.
But then my ankle and all up my leg would have been
screwed up.
Pretty devastated.
Yeah.
Fortunately, that did not happen. I was fine. I would say the more dangerous part.
Yeah.
Was after the show, we're returning back to the dock. It's, I don't know, 1 or 2 in the morning. The sea's pretty choppy.
Yeah.
Everybody's puking.
Why? Oh, because just everyone's drunk.
No, everybody's seasick.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, I'm pretty resistant to motion sickness.
You were the right guy for the job for kicking explosives.
I think it was me and one other person weren't just hurling.
Yeah.
But the dangerous part was we were breaking down the show. We were like taking the mortar tubes out, stacking them up in a shipping crate, like breaking everything down. And nobody was wearing life vests.
Right.
And
at this point, this does not surprise me.
And it occurred to me, like, I really should be wearing a life vest. I don't see any life vests. I don't know if there's any on board. Okay, whatever. So the exterior of the barge just had these like metal poles welded and then like steel cable run through them as a railing.
Right.
So as I'm working my way around the edges, I had a carabiner.
Yeah.
Because I like gadgets. I had a carabiner that I hooked through my belt and my rear belt, my belt loop.
Yeah.
and then I clipped that onto the wire.
Oh, okay.
Now, I don't know if that would have held my weight.
But it gave you a little bit of security.
Gave me some stability.
Right.
But yeah, if you fell off, like there was very little chance unless somebody saw you, and yeah.
I mean,
it was super sketchy. And then
so wait, if you had fallen off, like nobody would have seen you, nobody would have found you,
unless somebody saw you fall.
Because I mean, how far was that drop?
It was a few feet, but
yeah,
it was like dark. It was
super dark.
It was out like, at least a kilometer offshore.
You don't think like yelling, screaming for help would have
maybe, but
been heard?
It's pretty tough to swim when you're fully clothed.
Yeah, that's true. I'd drop my pants immediately.
You'd drop a load in your pants.
I dropped several loads. I'd be a few pounds lighter for sure.
Yeah, so it was very it was
just a crazy amount of liability waiting to happen.
Well, then they were like, okay, well, the sea's too choppy, so we're going to take you off and we're going to put you on this boat.
Yeah.
So then we have a barge and a little boat side by side.
Yeah.
And they're, the decks are doing this.
Yeah, right.
And they're kind of bumping together every now and then.
Yep.
And so you had to get from one to the other. You had to time it so that you were either stepping down or stepping across.
Sure. It's just a video game at this point.
Yeah. And so timing your step over correctly and not falling in and getting ground up in between them.
Right. Yeah.
Surprisingly, nobody failed at that.
Many ways to lose a foot.
I think everybody realized how dangerous that was.
Yeah,
and
right.
They were like 100% focused on not fucking up.
This 100% sounds like something from a different country, right? This sounds like par for the course in like China or somewhere else where like the safety laws are just non-existent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
In retrospect, I am surprised.
See it too often in the U.S. It doesn't happen because you will get sued.
Yeah.
You know?
In retrospect, it's pretty surprising how there was like a safety briefing.
Yeah.
Right? There was specific care and attention put towards safety, but only in the context of this is a fireworks show.
Right.
Very little, if any, was mentioned about the fact that you're on the ocean, and that also is a whole other kind of dangerous.
Right. Of course.
It may have been addressed.
Yeah.
And maybe there were life vests available and nobody wanted to wear them because they didn't look cool. I don't know.
That's crazy.
I don't remember.
I feel like these days, I bet you if that show's still going on, they've changed a lot. I would imagine. It
all happened because a guy, I met a guy when I was working retail, and he had a shirt with the company's name on it. And I asked him, "Hey, that's a cool shirt. How'd you get that?" And he said, "Oh, I volunteered on a fireworks show."
I risked my life for my country, and all I got was this dumb T-shirt. That's what it said on the back.
And I was like, I want to work on a fireworks show. And he's like, oh, here's a business card. Call this guy, and you can get on a fireworks show. I did that 2 years.
That's how they pay you with the T-shirts.
Actually, no, I was a volunteer, but they did pay me. They
did pay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was like $1,500.
Really? That's pretty good for a few days' work.
Either that or $800. I don't remember.
Back then,
I think 800 would equal 1,500 today.
Yeah, definitely. At least, yeah.
So this was like, I don't know, 2011, 2012.
Oh, okay. Wasn't as far back as I thought, but still a good decade.
It was definitely the right thing to do in my 20s. I wouldn't do it in my 30s.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good chunk of change in your pocket in your 20s as well.
It was really, for me, nice. It was more about the experience. It was a lot of fun. It was good.
Yeah, right.
It was like hard work.
Yeah.
It was camaraderie. It was danger.
Right.
I do like danger.
Yeah, danger's fun.
I still don't understand how I haven't been horribly maimed yet.
Right.
But yeah, it was cool. Looking back, I was like, that was stupid dangerous in a lot of ways, but not the ones that you would typically think of when you think fireworks show. You think fireworks show, you think things exploding your face off or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But really, the fireworks show part of it was run really quite professionally.
Sure.
and it was you're bobbing around in the ocean
Right.
part that was really, in retrospect, a lot more of the danger.
That throws a big curveball in the whole thing because it's like now you're handling explosives like during more or less an ongoing earthquake, like just a constant motion, like tectonic plates.
Well, we were tied up on at a dock when we were setting up.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And then once everything was set up, then we were underway and
but you could still
getting
fall
towed
over or something like that, or
it was pretty gentle. Like I took my hammock and I tied it up and took a nap while we were getting towed out there.
yeah, nice.
But it was that, after the show, and it was only one of the two times it was just like the weather got bad, the ocean got real choppy.
Sure.
As we were coming back, everybody was puking, and they were like, "Okay, well, let's just get onto this other boat." They say it's too choppy for us to be on this barge.
Dang. Yeah, I remember I got some pretty bad motion sickness once, seasickness when I was I think I was like maybe 13. I was like young, and I was feeling nauseous, and I went to take a nap. We were like on the way to Catalina or something like that, and I was just like, I go to take a nap, try to like sleep it off. Terrible idea, because it's like I'm continuing to get more and more nauseous without really being conscious of it. So by the time like I actually kind of like my own nausea wakes me up, I'm like, oh no, I have to throw up. Like the realization that I'm going to throw up.
Yeah.
Like now, so I like start getting up, and as I'm like walking across other people, I just let it go, and I let it go. I let it go on myself. I let it go on some of the people, like splash zone, with some of the people nearby, and I remember that was a rough day. That was a rough day at Catalina when we got there.
Yeah. I don't know why I am pretty immune to motion sickness. The worst motion sickness I ever got was from being in a tire swing.
Okay.
And having somebody spin me for like 3 minutes straight.
Yeah, right.
And then I was like,
yeah,
laying on the couch, just like super out of it for a couple hours. But
I do that to the girl sometimes on like the gaming chair. I just spin that around for like a minute, and then she'll jump off, and like her body will warp. Like she won't exactly stick the landing. It's really funny, but she's never peaked from it, so that's good. That
is good. I've never peaked from motion sickness.
That's good. I was gonna say, I get what you're saying though. Like being around danger, like a fireworks show, it's kind of just makes you feel alive.
Definitely, dude. It was like 2, 3 in the morning, and I was pumped. I was
like laser focused and stuff.
I was, especially like the show was at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Maybe around 9 p.m., 8 p.m.
Yeah.
But then it's like 4 hours to get back to Long Beach.
Right.
So by the time we're getting back, it's like, 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'm just like very alert.
Right.
Because
of course, that adrenaline.
Yeah.
It's keeping you in survival mode.
And taking a nap while on the way there didn't hurt either.
Right. I was around a bit of danger myself earlier today. I cut myself while cooking in the kitchen.
I was going to ask about the Band-Aid.
It was a nice little chunk that I took out of my thumb today.
Oh, you took a chunk out.
I was cooking with the lady, and there was a jar of curry powder that has a metal lid. You take the metal lid off, and then there's just like a foil. It's just foil, right? And there was no like tab to like peel the foil off. So I just took my finger and jammed it into the foil.
Okay.
And it went right through abruptly, and then the foil completely sliced open my thumb.
Because it was thick.
Because it was thick. It was thick foil. I was thinking it was like a little bit of aluminum foil, but it was like thicker foil.
That's why you take a knuckle and you give it a couple sharp taps,
right,
to get a feel for it.
Right. Or I could have done it in a million ways. I could have just taken a knife and cut it, across or whatever. That would have been smart. But I was just like, it's just foil. Boom. Because I've opened a million things like that, but this was different. And then just immediately, like, just blood starts pouring down, and she like ran to get, Vaseline and a Band-Aid and stuff. But it was cool. It was like his opportunity for me to feel manly. She's like, oh no,
I bled for you.
I was like, I'm fine. I'm like, don't worry, lady, it's fine. And but inside I'm like, it stings a little. I'd get like a little bit of lime juice on it, but like, don't tear up. It's fine. You have to be strong.
Yeah, you're lucky it wasn't kimchi.
What's that? Yeah, I know.
Kimchi.
Yeah, no kidding. She can't see you weak.
So you actually took a chunk out, and it's like hanging by a flap.
It's hanging by a flap. Yeah.
Okay, so if you let it sit and you don't mess with it too much, it may just reattach.
I'm hoping.
Me
Or
too.
it'll just push it out. Like the flap will be there, but then it'll heal underneath, and eventually I can just like clip the flap off or something.
Yeah,
That
it's
works
better. It's better if it
Reattaches.
reattaches, but it's pretty tough, especially on a finger, to be gentle enough with it.
Yeah.
That because you pretty much almost just get one chance. If you cut a chunk of yourself off,
Yeah.
it's almost like you get one chance to get it to stick,
Right.
and have a chance for your body to start forming like a fibrin bridge and start reconnecting capillaries and everything.
Yeah, I thought I could maybe I thought of maybe like putting a splint on my thumb so I don't bend it, because if I bend it, that's gonna make it move around.
I would do that if it's a big enough chunk. I would definitely do that, because it takes a lot longer to heal by secondary intention than it is for just essentially a very severe cut to heal cleanly.
Yeah, right. It's already got the lid, Might as well just use the original lid.
Yep.
But yeah, so that was fun.
What was in the container?
Curry powder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was curry powder. We were making like some Thai food. And I made a blood sacrifice to that meal.
Do you want to know the best way to open something with a foil top?
How's that?
Or a sealed top?
Not with your finger.
It could be with your finger, but the ideal, in my opinion, is you just take a knife and let's say this is your container.
Yeah.
Just take the knife and run it around.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. I've done that in the past too. I was just lazy. I was like lazy, and I'm like, my thumb's already a tool that I have on me. Like I was just like, what's the worst that's gonna happen?
You end up without a thumb.
So many times I'll take like a shortcut. That's just like the fastest route from A to B, the shortest distance between 2 points, and I just fuck it up. It was like, damn it, why did I do that so much? I do that all the time.
Do you ever sit and reflect on those moments?
No.
You should maybe try that.
No, I have. I do. It's reflecting on it's one thing. Like thinking about it twice in the moment when there's another situation, another scenario is another thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Fair.
Like I just need to like take pause anytime I'm faced with a scenario like that, because in my mind I just think I don't even think about it. I need to think about it in the moment, not just after the fact. I need to get to that point.
That's I think some variety of mindfulness.
Yeah. Hey, at least I'm not fucking kicking live grenades with my foot.
I never had to do that. I was prepared to do that.
I've never signed up for that job.
I actually did not sign up for that. I was assigned. I was like that was the first time. The second time I was in charge of communications.
Yeah.
So there was
that sounds much safer.
Yeah, I was the communications officer with the people on shore.
Nice.
Yeah, that was much safer. It was actually different kind of scary, because I thought for a second that there was some kind of massive failure and the electrical launch control system for the fireworks system was just completely busted. But it was a false alarm.
Nice. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
That happens a lot. Or it just goes haywire. I mean, you've seen all like the disaster fireworks shows where the electrical system goes berserk and fires them all at the same time.
Oh, San Diego?
Yeah.
That was a big one,
it's
man.
Just one shot.
One
shot would kill.
I would pay money to go see a show like that.
That would be pretty crazy.
It's like
all your eggs in that one basket just shot off in a few seconds.
People will go see rocket launches. That's
True.
a big deal, right?
True.
I don't there's no rockets launching around here. So I would go to see a fireworks show where they intentionally just do, 30 minutes of fireworks.
Right,
in
right.
1 minute.
Yeah. Or like, at least maybe launch them one at a time for like a few minutes, 5 minutes. I drove all the way out there,
Okay.
I camped around all day just for a good seat.
Mash that big red button.
And then, the rest of them just all at once. Like just the big red button. I don't care. Do it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, the controls for this fireworks show were actually really stupid simple. It was just a big board with a bunch of metal contacts numbered, and you had a stylus with cable, and all you were doing was completing the circuit. So you take the metal tip of the stylus,
right?
You touch a metal contact, you're completing a circuit, and so that electrical charge ignites the fuse of the firework.
That's pretty cool.
So you have like sort of like a sheet that's like after the wait 1 second, hit the next one, wait 1 second, hit the next one.
Gotcha.
And then go the next three in the next 5 seconds or whatever.
Pattern.
Like there's
it's almost like Morse code, like dot dot pause dot dot dot.
There was
pause.
Cool. Like a rhythm or a
cadence to it.
A cadence to it. Yeah, thank you.
Interesting. Yeah, I always wondered that if it was like one by one, or if it was like they just hit one button and it's like just a program that just like does it all.
Well, that's what I think very sophisticated pro shows have, is a computer system that just will send
pre-programmed.
Yeah, it'll have perfect timing, like launch that, wait to launch that.
Sure. But it's still
launch these three.
It's pretty cool that there's still some smaller shows maybe are still doing it like that old school way.
Yeah, you're literally just going launch, just by tapping each contact.
It's about as old school as you can go without blowing your arm off.
Yeah, other than the
old-fashioned way.
Dynamite plunger thing.
Yeah. Dynamite plunger?
Yeah, you haven't seen that?
What's that?
It's an old-timey dude, you played Red Dead Redemption?
Dynamite. Oh, that thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I was thinking like a toilet plunger. I was thinking like someone plunging dynamite down a sink or something.
I just started playing Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, nice.
And
nice.
It's
so fun.
It's overwhelming how open world it is. It's like it's like GTA but with horses and banditry.
It's GTA horse. That's what they call it. It's a redneck Skyrim, dude.
It's pretty cool.
It is very fun.
But in the first 5 hours of the game, you see a dynamite plunger.
Yeah.
Which is that old school,
that
T-shaped stick you push down.
Yep, right. Like in the cartoons, like the Roadrunner, Acme type stuff. Meep meep.
Yep. And I think that I don't know how that works. I have to look it up. I'm curious.
That seems like one of the most fun ways to light it off.
That would be a great way to start a fireworks show.
The plunger? Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Especially if it just had like a nice tactile feel to it, a little bit of resistance. It was like a mechanical key switch or something.
Corsair, please make a dynamite plunger.
That would be pretty sweet. I don't know why we were talking about this, but I was telling Mel the other day, I was like, we were talking about like funerals for some reason. And I was like, that's the way I'd want to go out is like strap my ashes to like a firework and then launch that sucker in the sky. And then just have that explode.
That's very Hunter S. Thompson of you.
So I could say I went out with a bang. Hey. Sorry, that's his dad joke of the day. But
Hunter S. Thompson had his ashes shot out of a cannon.
That's okay. That makes sense. That sounds. I believe that 100%. That's pretty cool, though. That is pretty cool. At what? Like, was it just in the ocean?
I don't know. It was just like, put me in the cannon and shoot it.
At his wife or something?
Probably at his neighbor.
At his neighbor.
Dude, I remember seeing this video of him feuding with his neighbor. And they're just yelling at each other and casually firing pistols in each other's directions.
Wow. That'd be the ultimate move though, to like to have the last laugh against someone you hated.
Just spread your ashes all over your neighbor's property.
Yeah, right. Literally just fuck them over from the grave.
Yeah, I'm gonna make your grass greener, bitch.
Yeah, right. And like, what are you gonna do? I'm already dead. What are you gonna do? Kill me? Hunter S. Thompson.
I'm a Frank Reynolds man. Just throw me into the dumpster.
Is that what? Who's Frank Reynolds?
Danny DeVito plays him. Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
It's like when I'm dead, just throw me in the dumpster. Throw me in the trash.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be cool with that too. Honestly, that'd be cool. A dumpster funeral. I would do it open dumpster. I'd want people to just,
Now, do you want
see me hanging out there.
Chick-fil-A trash under you, or do you want 7-Eleven?
I think it'd be cool if everyone
or
just
Krispy Kreme.
I think it'd be cool if everyone like BYOF, bring your own food and drinks, and whenever you're done, all the trash just goes in with me. So it's almost like when the Egyptians would be buried with like their treasures. Mm-hmm. The Egyptian like pharaohs and stuff. I want to be buried with like Krispy Kreme boxes and like McDonald's Happy Meals.
Okay.
Just the leftovers.
Yeah.
Almost like to pay homage to like back in high school when I would eat other people's leftovers. Like they'd throw shit in the trash can. I would just like grab it, like 5-second rule, and then eat like someone's half-eaten PB&J. Okay,
where do you stand on? Well, it's not high school, so where do you currently stand on eating food out of the trash?
I have a little bit of coin in my pocket nowadays, where I don't have to stoop to those levels. I'm in a very privileged position, so
if you're
I don't need to go there.
If you're, let's say you're looking in the trash can here.
Okay.
And you see that I had just thrown away like a sealed plastic clamshell of cupcakes.
Okay. I'd probably text you and be like, what's some of these cupcakes, dude? I'd be like, are these cupcakes? Are these good?
I was like,
I would check
I'm like,
first.
Yeah, I didn't have time to eat them, so I tossed them.
The difference is that, I was a fat kid. I mean, I'm still a fat kid for life, but I was especially a fat kid in high school. And unlike now, where I have a house and I work and live at home, I was on a limited diet at lunch, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're in high school, it's like whatever's in my bag that my mom gave me, it's what I ate.
Yeah.
And then, and so I would still be hungry afterwards. I'd be like, I still want more food, and then, and that's why I would resort to just whatever I could find. Just table scraps. I was like a raccoon. I was a fucking raccoon in the ROTC, warehouse. That was my, how like raccoons like hang out the same neighborhoods. Like they have their little circuit that they do.
Yeah.
That was my circuit, dude.
What was the best thing you ever found in the trash?
Just like, like decently made sandwiches. A lot of sandwiches. It's always a go-to.
Like somebody just didn't want their sandwich and threw it away?
Didn't want their sandwich, or
a full sandwich?
Sometimes it'd be like half a sandwich.
Okay.
Yeah. Like if I was lucky, it'd still be in the bag.
Uh-huh.
With like no bites out of it. I was like,
oh,
dude,
that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's good to go.
That's just like someone's mom made me a sandwich.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. Or it'd be like, let's say like someone didn't finish their bag of goldfish. There'd be some goldfish in there still.
Okay.
So still no bites out of there. Obviously some finger germs maybe. But you know what? But you know what's crazy? It's like I never got like sick ever. Like in high school, I thought I had that thought even back then. I was like, this might make me sick if I keep this up. No, or some weird shit might happen.
You were just constantly challenging your immune system.
It's totally fine. I mean, I might have IBS now, so maybe that has something to do with it. No, actually, that's been fine too. But yeah, I remember Kreider, Michael Kreider.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. I would always take his cookies.
I think you told me about that.
His mom would like always give him this fat chocolate chip cookie, and he would never eat it for whatever reason. He just like he probably ate it every day for like years, so he just never wanted it. And I would find Michael Kreider at lunch, be like, Kreider. I would have to say anything. At some point, he would just see me. He'd go, "Oh yeah," and then just hand me the cookie. Like we didn't have to like words. Just
that's funny.
Weren't necessary. And then you'd sort of figure it out. You'd sort of get a lay of the land and figure out who's a light eater,
Who's got what?
Who's got what? But also like who finishes their meal and who doesn't.
Yeah.
Like I know like Rainey's not going to finish any of the shit. You know, like definitely seek him out. You got to pay him a visit.
Right.
But and then also like, you know, the people who are willing to share, you know, who just didn't give a shit, you know, like.
Right. Like they might have been able to eat it all, but they were willing to share.
Definitely. Yeah.
Did I ever share my lunch with you?
I don't remember. I don't think so. I don't really remember seeing you at lunch under those circumstances. It was maybe like either hanging out with Aaron or something.
Yeah.
But not really like in ROTC.
That's true.
You know what I mean? I don't remember like eating with you.
That's a good point. No.
What would you do? What would you do at lunch? Would you like be with people?
I would go to the cafeteria and buy something.
You'd buy something at the
terrible for you and overpriced,
or
just not eat.
Would your mom not pack you anything or nothing like that?
No,
I'm surprised.
I think I was just like, you want lunch? Pack your own lunch. Otherwise, you know, here's a little bit of money. You can buy something.
Nice.
I don't know. It's funny. Like I specifically brought up that example because I was at work and I was like, I don't know, 22 or something. I found a sealed clamshell thing of like muffins in a dumpster.
Yeah.
It was like somebody had just thrown them away because they were expired that day.
Sure.
And they were just like maple flavored muffins.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that looks good.
Yeah.
So I snagged it and I brought it back from my trash run.
And there wasn't like, you know, fucking blood on it.
There was no goop or anything on it.
Right,
it was clean.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And by sealed, I mean like there was a paper label that went from top to bottom, so it was not broken, that hadn't been opened.
Yeah, it's brand new.
Yeah. So I was just like, score. So I was like, I'm going to snack on this.
Yeah.
And then my coworker's like, where did you get that? Did you get that out of the trash?
The fact that was their first guess. They just knew.
I went to take the trash out and I came back with muffins.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Or cupcakes or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were just aghast. And I was just like, yo, free snack. It's perfect. It's perfectly good.
It was sealed in the box, dude.
Yeah.
Sealed in the box.
Yes.
Nice.
It's like if I took a can of baked beans and threw it in a dumpster.
Yeah.
And then you waited 5 minutes and took it out of the dumpster.
Right.
Is it any less, quality?
There is always the small chance that some sadistic psycho just injects some fentanyl and all these in some cupcakes and then reseals the box.
Free cupcakes and free drugs?
Just drops them in the yeah.
Dude, okay.
Just test your cupcakes, everyone.
Here's the thing. Like, well, okay, you know what? I guess fentanyl changed the game because it used to be that you'd be like, nobody's going to lace your weed with something else.
Sure.
Or whatever. Because it's expensive.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to make a profit selling weed. Like you don't have extra money to burn by trying to get somebody hooked on, crack or heroin that you put in with your weed.
Enter China.
Yeah, fentanyl is dirt cheap, so you can.
It's from China, isn't it?
It's primarily, as I understand it, the precursors.
Yeah. Come
from China.
Okay.
And then it gets manufactured in Mexico.
Gotcha.
That's to my knowledge. I could be totally wrong.
Right. Both pretty cheap on the manufacturing side of things. China and Mexico.
The now you're right though. It's like, yeah, you could take if you had like access to high grade not cut fentanyl, $5 worth probably could kill a
hippopotamus,
30 people.
Yeah, right. A couple elephants.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's scary.
It is.
It's actually very scary.
It is.
The number of just crazy overdoses.
Especially because now it's like there's people who are like, I thought I was getting cocaine, but it was really shitty cocaine, and then somebody put fentanyl in it because they felt guilty about cutting it so hard.
Right, exactly.
Whatever, I don't know.
It's just I don't get it. It's not a great way to get repeat customers just by killing them. You know?
It's
I don't understand it. It's not good business sense. Just you know, all the like moral, ethical shit aside, it's just not good for business to be like, where'd you get this from? Johnny. Oh, like that. Well, his shit killed half my family.
That's just churn, man. It's just churn. You
you
always
just go on to the next one.
churn in your customers. There's always people who are.
It's a revolving door.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
But that particular business churn is literally people's lives, not just them going to find a better deal.
Yeah, it's just bodies rolling in and out. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's ugly.
Yeah, a lot of dumpster funerals.
So, 2 things to not mess with definitively.
Yep.
Fentanyl and fireworks.
Definitely.
Stick to alcohol and firecrackers.
And sometimes eating out of the trash.
Yeah. I'll sign off on that.
Definitely. And on that note, thanks for watching this episode. Thank you guys. We will see you next week.
Stay safe.